Copyright and intellectual property use in digital media production. This video is a brief video on intellectual property issues of digital media. First of all, let's talk about the proliferation of digital media. There's so much digital media out there that has brought into question how traditional copyright laws come into play with intellectual property. This is just going to be a short video giving an overview of the course, and taking a look at this in depth is going to take a little bit more than 3 to 4 minutes. So what I like to just go through real quickly is about some of the definitions of copyright and intellectual property rights and what it does cover. Copyright, what is that? It's a legal concept which prioritizes creator of the original work providing exclusive rights for a limited period. What that does is it gives credit to the work. It provides rights of credit for the work, and also right of how the work can be used in other forms. A real good example of that is like when you have a book that's written by an author and they want to put it into a movie. So the writer or the author is going to have some say about how he wants his book portrayed in the movie. Intellectual property. Now, intellectual property is like an umbrella, and what it does is it covers a multitude of things, specifically like copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, patents, and even industrial design rights as well too. Now, there's a lot of critics out there that are saying that intellectual property laws, they stall progress, they harm health, and they cause a detriment to society as a whole. And basically what that means is they're saying that, the critics are saying that intellectual property laws stifle creativity. Now, with digital media, laws are being reinterpreted because of all the digital media out there. I mean, you have so much video out there. We'll just take that as an example, like YouTube. There's so much video out there. It's instructional videos for this, instructional videos for that. You know, if you want to learn how to use your smartphone, there's going to be an instructional video on out there how to do that. Back in the old days, what you would do is you would send out a manual to the buyer of the product, and then they can go through the manual. Now everything's online or on a PDF file or something of that nature. Now also there's a lot of proposals out there. The two that come to mind are SOPA and PIPA. Now SOPA is an acronym for Stop Online Piracy Act, and that's a bill that's been introduced by U.S. Representative Lamar Smith of Texas. And what it does is it's supposed to expand the ability of U.S. law enforcement to combat online copyright infringement and online trafficking and counterfeit goods. The other act that I just mentioned was called PIPA, or Protect IP Act, and the long version of it is Preventing Real Online Threats to Economic Creativity and Theft of Intellectual Property Act. And that's a proposed law. And it's the stated goal of it is giving the U.S. government and copyright holders additional tools to curb access by rogue websites dedicated to the sale or infringing of the counterfeit goods. The thing that comes to mind are those sites that back a little while ago who had to be shut down, like LimeWire, for example. A lot of the music was able to be downloaded from LimeWire. There was video that was downloaded from LimeWire. And what happened was they had to end up shutting it down, but people was using the music and selling it. And the artists were losing money from that. So that's a pretty good example of what this act would prevent going forward. So since this is a brief overview of the class that we're going to be having about copyright and intellectual property, this is just giving us a brief overview of those terms. Now, some of the issues that we're going to be looking at further will be issues that's causing digital media to affect traditional copyright laws, and also what kind of proposed legislation is out there. We'll go further into depth with that. And there's how intellectual property could be affecting society as a whole. And if you have any questions, we'll talk about that later on in the class. But this is just to give you an overview of what we'll be discussing in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.